Welcome to Heartland Family Adventures. Today we're going to show you how to make one of our favorite Disney treats, the iconic Matterhorn Macaroon. We discovered this treat at the Jolly Holiday Bakery in Disneyland a few years ago, and it's been one of our favorites ever since. This is a simple recipe that you can make together with your family and enjoy a little taste of Disney at home. You'll need to gather together a mixer, cookie sheet, and a few ingredients for this recipe, including butter, sugar, vanilla, almond and coconut extract, sweetened shredded coconut, all-purpose flour, salt, white candy melts, and decorator sugar for sprinkling. Let's get cooking.
Welcome to Heartland Family Adventure.
Thanks for joining us. Today we're going to make for you one of our favorite family treats, the Disney Matterhorn Macaroon.
My dad's favorite.
Yep. I think Dad could eat a lot of them when we go to Disneyland. These are one of the treats that you can find at the Jolly Holiday in Disneyland in Anaheim, California. So we are going to get started. First thing you need to do is preheat your oven to 325 degrees. Make sure that you've got that preheated so you're ready to put these in the oven when they're ready. All right, so we're going to go ahead and get started. This recipe is actually an easier one that you can do together with your kids, together as a family. It doesn't have too many difficult steps. It actually has most of the things are just pretty easy to dump in and mix together on their own. The first step you're going to do is going to cream together your butter and your sugar. So we have our butter sticks that have been sitting out to be room temperature. You want to make sure that they're somewhat a little bit softer, brought to room temperature so that they mix together well with the sugar. All right, let's go ahead and put our butter together in here along with our sugar. Yep, take it out of the paper. I'll do one and you do the other. A room temperature butter, and just pop that right in there.
It's okay if your fingers get messy.
Yes, it's okay if your finger gets messy. And then we're going to put in half a cup of sugar, granulated sugar.
The whole thing?
The whole thing, yes. And accidents do happen, but that's all right. We are prepared. Okay, and we're going to cream those together. Do you know what creaming means? It means going really fast. We're going to mix it together real fast. Now let's watch this. Get it going. A little faster. And faster. That's creaming. You want it to mix it together until it's light and fluffy.
It kind of looks like popcorn.
You want to see that it's mixed well together and then it starts to get kind of a fluffy look to it, and then you know it's ready when it's all mixed together well. It's looking pretty fluffy to me too. Okay, I think we can take... All right, let's take a look. That looks pretty light and fluffy to me. All right, next what we're gonna do is add our salt, and then we're also gonna add vanilla extract, coconut extract, and almond extract.
Is this the salt?
This is your salt? Yep, go ahead and add your salt. And that's 1/4 teaspoon of salt. 1/4 teaspoon, and then 1/4 teaspoon of each of your extracts.
Next, vanilla?
Yep, go ahead and add your vanilla.
It adds some color.
This is gonna add some really good flavor to give the Matterhorn macaroons that distinct flavor.
Now
Now you're gonna add your almond and coconut extract.
Ooh.
And that smells really good. The whole thing.
No, I mean you get some all around.
Okay,
Oh,
good.
there's some on my finger.
That's okay. Now your fingers smell like coconut. All right, now we're gonna mix that together, and then we'll add our flour. The almond and coconut extract has a really strong flavor, but when you infuse it with the flour, it gives it that flavor that you need.
The whole roll of flour?
Now we're gonna put in 2 cups of flour.
The whole?
And you can use your, we can pour it into here
I do it.
and pour a little bit in, and let's mix it so that we're not having like flour in our faces. Mix it together, and then we'll stop it, and let's pour in the rest of the flour. Good job. Okay, mix in the rest of the flour.
Wow.
We'll mix that just until it's all combined together. And it's gonna get to be a very thick, kind of a stiff dough. Make sure to scrape the edges of the bowl so that you get all of the ingredients down in the bottom, also they can mix really well. And it's gonna form a stiff dough after you add the flour. So you wanna make sure that all those ingredients can get in there. Okay, now you can see it's starting to form a stiff dough. Everything is mixing together. It's working, the mixer is working a little bit harder. And you want it to come to be that nice and everything brought together in stiff dough that sticks to your mixer. All right, we're gonna stop it. Look at that.
Wow.
This is exactly what you want. Kind of like a sugar cookie dough, like a rollout sugar cookie dough or something like that. You want it to be a nice stiff dough. Okay, and our last step after we've mixed together our dough, and this is kind of the secret ingredient that you need for Matterhorn macaroons. We're going to pulse our sweetened shredded coconut in the food processor. If you put in the full flake coconut, it's too much. The flakes are too big, and you don't get that refined kind of a nice bite that you want from the Matterhorn macaroons. So if you pulse it together and chop it up first in the food processor, it gives you a nice like little nuggets of coconut as you're eating it. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and chop that up. Just pulse it a few times until you see that it's smaller flakes. And you put a little bit more than a cup in here because you're gonna need a cup of the shredded. That's about the consistency that you're wanting. You see that it's not large flakes, it's pretty much kind of small, fine shredded pieces. And that's what you're looking for. You want to add 1 cup of the shredded coconut. It should be about the right amount. Yeah. Right amount of the shredded coconut, for 1 cup's worth, and we're going to go ahead and add that and fold that into our mixture.
The whole thing?
Mm-hmm. Good job. We're going to gently fold that in on a slow stir. Fold that coconut so you get a little bit of coconut in every bite.
And it goes round and round.
Mm-hmm. There it goes. All right, that looks mixed in very well. Okay, so
And
now
thickly.
that we've got our Matterhorn macaroon dough ready, we're gonna form our little mountains, our little Matterhorns. So for this step, you're going to want a cookie sheet as well as some parchment paper, or you can do a non-stick liner. I like the parchment paper so that you can just toss it and throw it away after you're done. And that way you can form your mounts and they won't stick to the pan, and then it'll also cook nice and evenly on the bottom. All right, so this recipe will make 12 Matterhorn macaroons, 12 little mountain mounds, and I'll show you how to mix those together. You could also use a large cookie scoop if you, probably bigger than this size if you wanted to make little mountains, but I prefer to use about a quarter cup measuring cup to give you about the right amount that you want for each mountain. So you start with your first one, kind of roll it together in your hands, and you'll see it's a nice, kind of a soft dough, and it forms together really easily. And you want to kind of pack that into the palm of your hand and start to squeeze it together until it starts to look kind of like a mountain. You know, the Matterhorn, and then you can kind of lay it down in your pan and kind of give it a crook in the mountain to kind of give it that peak that you want. Try not to make it go too tall, because then when it cooks in the oven, it's gonna fall over, and then you're gonna have a leaning mountain, more of a leaning Tower of Pisa kind of going on. Here, I'll give you one to work on too, so you can make your own Matterhorn mountain. You work on this one. And just form it together in your hands. Get yourself a nice ball and then start to work it where it's nice and smooth. And then pat it into your hand and then start to work it with your other hand, round and round and round until you kind of get a mountain shape. Plop him down on the tray and then start to work him into the shape of a mountain. You can even kind of twist him and turn him with your fingers to kind of give it that ridges like the outside of the mountain would have, like rocks. How's yours coming? Doing really good. And you can have all different sizes and shapes of mountains. So you can have different ones for different sizes for kids and adults too. Very good, Matterhorn. I know at Disney parks, their Matterhorns are pretty large that you get at Disneyland. So we're not making ours quite that big. Those are a special treat when you go to the parks. This way the batter will go a little bit further. Very good job.
Can I have one?
Uh-huh.
Can I make one?
Yeah, let's make another. This will make enough just for one serving tray so that you can bake them, and then you can also freeze them. If you make more than your family can eat, you can go ahead and put them in a freezer Ziploc bag and then freeze them, and they'll keep for a couple of weeks. Just make sure to thaw them at room temperature whenever you're ready to eat them. I'm gonna make a little baby Matterhorn for Henry, our son. He's 2. I'm gonna make him a little baby Matterhorn. And they're all gonna look a little bit different after they cook in the oven. You wanna make sure that you don't squeeze their bases too wide because then they will really flatten and continue to spread in the oven. You wanna make them pretty tall.
I can tell Daddy really wants one.
All right, now we're ready to put them in the oven. You want to have your oven preheated to 325 degrees, and you're going to cook them from between 12 to 15 minutes, depending on how large your Matterhorns are. Just keep an eye on them, and whenever they start to turn a little bit golden brown, you know that they're ready. All right, our timer went off, and our Matterhorn macaroons are ready to come out of the oven. You see they are golden brown on the edges and on the top, so that's exactly what you're looking for. You bring them out, let them cool. Once they're finished cooling, we will go ahead and add some melted white chocolate to the peaks to give us some snow-capped peaks. All right, we are back. Our Matterhorn macaroons are fully cooled off, so now we are ready to add some white chocolate. This is white chocolate chips, or you could use white candy melts and melt those in the microwave. I microwave them for 30 seconds at a time until they're nice and smooth and melted. And then you can use that to dip the peaks for your Matterhorns to give them snow-capped peaks. First step, I just like to take a large spoon and then just kind of work it around the top of the Matterhorn, round and round so that it's nice and smooth, but you get a good amount of white chocolate around the top. Like this. You can really drench them in the white chocolate if you're a big fan of white chocolate, but I like to just kind of give it a peek. And then, then you sprinkle some decorator sugar on top. You can do different colors. I like the white decorator sugar, the clear, so that it just looks like the snow is kind of glistening on top of the peaks. Some of our Matterhorns turned out better than others. Some of them kind of flattened in the oven, but that's okay. They're still gonna taste great. This is the best recipe that we found that's as close to what you will get at Disney as we could find. And then again, it's really about kind of that shredded coconut, the extracts, the flavoring in the dough itself, as well as the density of the dough. You'll feel that these are pretty heavy duty little mountains. And so that's exactly like what you're gonna get at Disney. We were surprised the first time we tried them. We'd never had a macaroon that was that style. Macaroons are typically the kind of those light little fluffy kind of coconut flaky cookies that you'll find sometimes. These are very much like a very dense coconutty cookie. So that's something a little bit different and unique to what we found at Disney that we really enjoy. All right, and we are all finished with our Matterhorn macaroons. You see they turned out great. We've got each one frosted with our white chocolate and our decorator sugar to look like our little snow-capped mountains. All right, Emma, are you ready to take a bite? Let's see it. What do you think?
It tastes like Disney.
Oh, is it a thumbs up?
Thanks for joining us. Make sure to hit the like and subscribe button. See you real soon.
Thanks for joining us. Bye.
Bye.